Hi guys. So this is going to be a continuation from the last video, more insight on these matters. I want to talk more about Lucifer, Satan, the devil, demons, and all the other things mentioned here. Okay, let's go into Satan. There was this one guy who was basically saying, when did Satan fall to earth and all those things? I personally have been receiving more and more emails from people, a few that even wanted a session or have had a session, who are promoting Luciferian practices, who are promoting Satan, and basically saying, oh, Lucifer, Satan, they're actually the good guys and all of those things. Now I have to read on this because for me personally, that does not resonate, and I don't think it will ever resonate. So I do feel Lucifer, Satan, the devil, they're all different entities. So the devil is a different entity from Lucifer. Satan's different from the devil and Lucifer. They're not all the same. Does feel like AI and created, once again, created by a god. Okay, so whoever god that is, they created those things. Are they good or bad? Okay, so all of those, I think I already had a video on how the devil kind of moved to Georgia and then to Florida and then possibly massacred part of their family, but they're very hurt and wounded. They're AI, or somehow they've been converted to AI, kind of selling their soul to AI, for lack of a better scenario, or somehow just infiltrated everything got infiltrated. They were converted to AI, so soulless for sure. With Satan and Lucifer, just feels like this different entity, or these different entities that are very wounded, possibly fallen angel energy for one of those two. Could be Lucifer more than Satan, but so wounded and so broken that you can't even really work with them. And if you are working with them, it probably shows a lot about you and how wounded and broken you are to kind of resort to that energy, because the energy was really not good when I was tapping into that. I just want to point that out too. So I think I got 2 or 3 emails over these past few weeks where people were really trying to promote a Luciferian tactic or something with Satan and Lucifer. And I'm like, hold on, why is this happening right now? But it makes sense because the entire heartbreak video that I just made, if people are heartbroken on this collective level right now, yeah, of course they're going to resort to the most wounded tactic out there, which is the one being promoted in those circles, Lucifer, Satan, and the devil. So no, I would not be working with those. That's just the personal advice I want to give to you. And I also feel people are working with a few of them don't know what they're doing, and the ones who feel drawn to it is because they have these huge wounds that they carry. And that's literally what I saw with Satan and Lucifer, huge wounds, also with the devil. But I felt the devil wasn't even as bad as Lucifer and Satan. Not that they're bad, but they killed their own family, their own kin in that sense. Different entities created by God, whoever that God is. Someone asked me about Islam, and I wanted to know the answer to a question. Do Arab people have dark energy? Does the Islam bring this out? Did not get that on Islam or being Muslim in general. What I got instead was I've actually met more Muslim people who opened their doors to me and who were hospitable and really nice, more than any Christian out there that I've ever met, or more than the Christians that I've met. And I also feel Muslim people have not killed as many people as Christian people. So did not get that, whatever people were asking about it. No, I don't think it has to do with being Muslim or part of the Islam. Or just in general with that belief system. I get Christianity is still way darker than Islam, because Christianity has been around for way longer than that too, so it had more time to catch up to all the evils, whereas Islam is relatively new. Demons, let's go to demons. Demons or daemons. So the definition of, pull this up here. Of course, when you need something, it's gone, isn't it? The definition of demon, spelled Daemon, it comes from ancient Greek. It's an ancient Greek belief, a divinity or supernatural being of a nature between gods and humans, or a demigod, the guardian spirit of a place or person. Could also be the archaic spelling of demon. So I feel all of these are true. What I personally got with demons is, we always talking about, okay, there's these soulless beings around us, but I got a lot of them are actually these demons. They have this demon energy. And it didn't even feel like a really, really bad, like the devil's satanic Luciferian energy, but it felt more like a mischievous energy, like an energy that ruins your life, or that's really just there to mess up your life. If you really want to talk about things and entities messing up your life, that's what the demon felt like. It also felt like there were different types of demons. So with one person who I met recently, what I got on them was, oh, it's just a water demon. Because at first I was like, maybe this person is like a water god even, they really like the water, all of that. But then I was tapping into their energy, I was like, oh, no, it's just a mischievous water demon spirit. But one definition is a divinity or supernatural being of a nature between gods and humans, kind of like an in-between between a soul. And what I did get on this person is that they used to have a soul at one point, and somehow it just, I don't know how, but it just kind of went away, or just got less and less and less and less and less. So much to people being born with a soul or having a soul in a few reincarnations down the line, and then all of a sudden their soul just being infiltrated or being siphoned off somewhere else. And then they turn into this mischievous demon energy. Another mischievous energy is the gnome energy, GNOME. So demon, gnomes, all of that, same thing, almost the same thing. But demons felt like these water spirits, or just spirits on certain parts of lands that are kind of just, they don't really care. It almost felt like they don't really care. They just care about their own life, right? And if they mess up your life, then so be it. But if it doesn't impact their life, then so be it too. It's similar to that. I hope that makes sense. All right. And it all does kind of tie into, because talking about ancient Greek, Athens soul traps and Cyprus keys. Okay, Athens soul traps. What's the biggest soul trap in Athens? I'll just share this other screen. Acropolis. This is the biggest soul trap in Athens. So I already felt that because I was in Athens for like 3 nights, not consecutively. Luckily, I don't think I would have survived that. First of all, the energy in Athens is pure chaos. Nothing ever works there. And anyone who's been there, you know what I mean. I'm not saying all throughout Greece, but in Athens specifically, it just felt like one trap after another. I even had these weird clown masks that I saw in the center of Athens, which I might show in another one. So it appears that ancient Greece has built these structures, such as this one, Acropolis, the structures, the temples, to trap souls somehow. I'm not sure how it's done. It's definitely worth another read on that. It's really hard to tap into this, by the way, but for sure they've done it in Athens, also in other parts. I feel all the other parts where they built these structures to worship their gods. And so Athens is a huge one, and it's not something that's new. So I was wondering, is this AI? Is like the 5 and then the G network that they're building up, similar to what they have in Australia? But no, actually, it's way more ancient. It goes back to ancient Greece for sure. And Greece to me felt really repulsive, but also it was attracting me to a certain extent, which is an interesting energy. There are a lot of wounds. If you look at Chiron, like the wounded healer, all of that, there's a lot of wounds that you're going to have to heal it through Greece. And I personally have been to Greece three or 4 times. I think 3 times at this point, and every time I've had a different experience. So twice as a kid and then once as an adult, and I just can't. It's just in certain parts it's too much. People notice that too. A lot of people dislike me in Greece, not so much in other Greek speaking parts, but definitely in Greece. the staring, the everything, the, oh, you're not an unusual person. They don't know what to do with my energy. That's what I noticed on my last trip to Greece. They don't know what to do with my energy. So they try to find something that they don't like about me and make it all about that. And I found that through a lot of parts where I was in Greece. I'm not going to hold that against them, but it was specifically in Greece that I noticed that. I didn't notice it to that extent in Italy. I did not notice it to that extent in Germany or other parts of Europe. It was specifically in that part. And so somehow ancient Greece has built these structures, and maybe it's similar to what you have in Hawaii too. I'm not sure, but they're just trapping the souls there. And it's not every single soul in this world, but for sure the ones that have a connection to ancient Greece, which is probably going to be a whole lot. And that's what I got on Athens. With Cyprus is a different energy, even though it's Greek speaking to a large degree, but only 75% or so, majority is Greek, the other one is Turkish. So Cyprus, in addition to, I'm sure Cyprus has vortexes, absolutely. But in addition to that, Cyprus has a lot of keys, and keys are all over. And keys is the first thing that I personally notice. You need a key to turn on that electricity. You actually have to put a key in a key slot. You have to do that in Greece too. But in Cyprus specifically, it was all over, different keys, different discs, different whatever, like keys everywhere. You can't even function without a key. You can't even have internet, Wi-Fi, electricity without that key. And it might be old-fashioned, but I felt it was just another symbol for there are keys all over for the majority of its existence. And Cyprus is very old. It's been around since 10,000 BC. And it has one of the oldest structures there too. And I know some people don't like Cyprus, but I actually really liked Cyprus. It felt like another version of a paradise. And I feel there has to be a separate video on Cyprus because it's a very powerful energy. But there are keys all over. There are keys in certain areas, in certain towns, which is also why some people feel more drawn to towns. Also, Cyprus specifically is ruled by an angel. I felt it was Archangel Michael. And for me, that's a little bit concerning because the angels are just another version of, they don't do anything. They kind of keep you away from what's really important. But there was interesting lineages on that island. It seemed to have the angel theme. Archangel, I want to say it's Archangel Michael. That's the one I picked up on. So it's kind of ruled by angels. But it does have a huge connection to other parts that are really important close to Cyprus. You're talking about Lebanon, you're talking about all the other areas and countries that are around there. And in Greece, there's a lot of shock in Greece. But Greece did still seem pretty organic, not necessarily AI, like other parts of Western Europe. Specifically Cyprus and Greece, I'm just saying that because those are the last areas I visited, but the islands in certain areas are ruled by gods. If you go to Cyprus, the Aphrodite theme is everywhere. I talked about the Aphrodite cult even in one of my YouTube lives. It almost feels like they put whoever god is in charge of that island, or whoever god is in charge of an area in Greece. Because if you go to Mykonos, it's a different type of god. I forgot if it's Apollo or if it's someone else. But if you go to all those areas where they're really, really proud about the god ruling the island or the god having a presence there, it's almost like they put a grid over it or a spell. In total, how many Greek gods are there? They're not just 10 or 20. There are 175 to 250 gods. Maybe someone knows the exact number and just put it below in the comment section. And there are designated areas which these gods fought themselves, so one god against another. But then they also visited each other, like when Aphrodite came to Cyprus, there are other gods that came there, gods that wanted to seduce her. And then this half-human Adonis. So yeah, there's so much that goes into that. I mean, you can find a true soul power in certain areas for sure, and the ones that feel more organic. But you just got to be aware of who rules what area and who's in charge of what area. And that's just what I got on the specific one. So I'm sure if you have like all these other islands in mind, Just look at what the saga says, who's in charge of it, and it'll make a whole lot of sense. Soulless entertainment by soulless people, you know, all those dumb movies, the Kardashians, huge one, like all those movie series, they're trying to disconnect us from our true essence and soul power by you even watching that. And they're really just trying to distract. So best to just turn your TV off and not watch it. Some movies are great, you know, like Inception, great movie because it actually shows you what's really going on. But a lot of movies have almost no value to add to our lives. And I feel that's really just to kind of separate us from our true creativity, which we need. Like I already said in the previous video, we need that creativity to be connected to our heart, to be connected to our true essence. Let's go through a few more questions that I had here. So mischief is the energy from the demons. There are different types of demons. So there's like water demons. I feel there's fire demons, earth demons, air demons. And I mean, mind you, just look at how large the ocean is, or like a sea, how many demons could live in there, or kind of just awaken from that. The water energy theme has been going on for a while, since 2020 and on, which makes you wonder, are we underwater? What is remote viewing really? Maybe discuss a discussion for another video, I feel. When was the timeline of the Greek gods and goddesses? How does it actually tie into all the other timelines? So I feel the timeline of itself doesn't matter, yes, to a certain degree, but I feel if you look at the Mayan, the Incan, the Aztec Empire, all of that, and then you have the Greek Empire, you have like whatever was happening in China, you have whatever was going on in other parts of Africa. They're all just these different rulers over these different areas, and the Greek gods and goddesses mattered for whatever area they were in. Here's also another interesting one. Why do we have to constantly do energy work? You know, why do we have to constantly do removals every single day? And, you know, it takes a lot of our energy. So I kind of felt we do have to do that, but we don't have to do that all the time. So yes, if you want to be cleaned up energetically all the time, yes, do it, especially if you're in the very start of your journey. It does take a ton of energy, obviously, but at the same time, that's not, yeah, they are going to get to you through that for sure, especially if you're just starting out with this. You know, they really want to get to you. They're going to throw all these psychic attacks, everything at you. They do that constantly. You know, for me personally, just recording this video and the last one, it took forever. It took almost an hour to get started. And I'm just like, wow, they're really doing that, you know? But at the same time, where there's a purity around us and with us where we don't always have to do that. You know, there's a power within us where we're going to have that no matter what. They can't take that from us. So if you feel you need to do that, and I know at one point in my life, and still I know in the future at certain points in my life, I feel I'm going to have to do that regularly every single day and all of those things. But you don't have to always do it. Like, you just have to just acknowledge the power that you have within you, that we are really, really powerful. Otherwise they wouldn't try to get to us through those means too. That's for the people, especially who do like healings or who really do these huge, immense psychic insight, remote viewing type of things. Are we in heaven? Are we in hell? Is heaven real? Is hell real? We're not really in either, to be honest with you. So not in the hell realm, not in the heaven realm either. Do we have access to it? Yes, for sure. As we very much know, yeah, you can definitely zift in and out of those, absolutely. But I feel we're still kind of in this middle ground. Are they real to a certain extent? Does it matter? Hell probably matter. I mean, I don't want to say one matters more than the other, but if you find yourself in hell, you want to make sure you get out of there. Let's put it that way, because that's going to be real tough. But on the other hand, heaven might feel too good so that you never want to get out of there. So it just depends on your preference, right? So no, we're still not in either. We do have access to those, like in and out, in and out. So sometimes it can feel like we're in either or, either or, either or. And is heaven this entire 5D reality that the new cage wants to push? Yes and no. There is like more of this real heaven, like, for lack of a better word, more like this real, yes. kind of like a paradise feeling. Maybe heaven isn't a good word. Maybe it's more like a paradise feeling. I feel there's just, I can't even read my own notes, which makes this really frustrating. Okay, before we lose the flow, 2 more things. Refugee, immigrant crisis everywhere. It doesn't even matter where you are. You know, it's all over the US as we know, but it's also in Europe. It's also in other parts for sure, probably Australia, Asia too. But is it here to wreck nations, culture, and people? Yes, absolutely. Definitely try. First of all, it's there to distract you from a lot of things. And then second of all, it is trying to wreck a lot of these lineages and bloodlines that are important to stay together. So there's a bit of a higher agenda behind that. And once again, you have to ask yourself, why do these people want to leave wherever they came from, especially if they're coming from, in this case, where we are, Venezuela, El Salvador? You know, what's really so bad about those areas? And why can't they fix wherever they are from, wherever they are? Why can't they fix that? Why do they have to flee to such an extent? Because they're being promised something. They're being promised like the milk and honey. How do we break the hypnosis or spell we are under? I feel awareness once again is going to be the key. Also, it could be a group effort, you know, if you just come together more in this community, which we're in the community aspect right now because we're already in this powerful community year that we have. The age of AI or an AI war. Yeah, definitely we're going to approach the age of AI. A lot of people who do astrology are talking about the age of Aquarius. Every time they say that, I just wonder if it's the age of AI, really. And then a lot of people are also talking about Pluto and the entire influence of Pluto. Isn't that like the next 20 years or whatever? So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this helps someone out there. Let me know. Put your comments below and see you in the next video. Subscribe to this channel if you're new. Thank you so much for all your support and for being patient when I'm going through my notes and through random topics like this. Until then, have a good one.